What's going on, guys? Welcome back. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Now, a few weeks ago, I installed the SDHQ Complete Billet Battery Terminal Kit. For those of you that don't know what that is, essentially, if you're looking at your battery on your 5th Gen 4Runner, those two connectors that connect the battery posts to your electrical, those are what I'm referencing. Now, on my 5th Gen 4Runner, it's a 2014, those terminals had over time gotten loose and they were causing me intermittent issues with my battery. So as they get loose, you lose contact between the battery posts and the wiring of the vehicle, and it can cause shorts or missed contact. And what it looked like for me is every once in a while, you could tell that the car wouldn't start or it would struggle to start, and that's because one of the posts had gotten loose. So I upgraded to SDHQ Built Complete Billet Terminal Kit, and I have not missed a beat with my vehicle. Everything now works as advertised. The car starts up 100% of the time with no issues. And the really nice thing is my engine bay is much cleaner now because all of my aftermarket accessories that don't connect to my switch panel and have to be hardwired now have dedicated spots for me to secure them to, rather than directly on the stud that holds the terminal to the battery. So, been very happy with that. And as you guys know, I created an install video. Well, SDHQ did see that video and they really liked what they saw. They were very kind and sent me a care package. They sent me a medium shirt, which in retrospect, I should have asked for a large. It makes my arms look nice, but a little tight up here and a little tight around the belly. Sometimes I forget I put on a little bit of weight this year. So thank you. My wife will enjoy this shirt after the video, and no, you will not see me standing up wearing this because it is a little snug. They also sent me a sweet hat, and this is one of those flex fit hats, which personally are my favorite because they don't have any hardware back here. They expand nice and easy, and they just look sleek. So I'm gonna wear the crap out of this, so thank you for that. They also sent me some decals, and now the goodies. Let's see what they sent. Obviously, I purchased the Complete Billet Battery Terminal Kit, and they wanted to send me something to complement the terminal kit. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I was going to buy this a few weeks ago when I got that battery terminal kit, but I held off because I'm in the military, and with the government shutdown, I have not been paid since September, like the 18th, and I'm not gonna get back pay. I'm not gonna get into the reason why. It's kind of situation dependent. That doesn't really matter, but I had every intention of buying what I'm about to show you later on, but SDHQ beat me to it and sent me it for free, so thank you, I'm excited. So, this is what they sent me. It is a piece of 6061 billet aluminum, and essentially, if you're looking at the battery, there's a piece of metal that runs down the middle of it and holds it down in place. That's getting pulled out of my car today. This is going to replace it. Now, you can buy just this piece of metal with this hook right here and the hardware, and this is 55 bucks on their site. Or you can get the upgraded version, which is what SDHQ sent me. And it's essentially what I just showed you, but it also comes with the pull down kit. So this has these nice hexagon shaped like rods, if you will. And essentially these will connect on either side, and then you'll put these hooks on both ends of each one, and they'll hook into the dedicated spots for the original hooks on your vehicle. So very excited to put this on my car because with the Complete Billet Battery Terminal Kit, everything looks nice and neat now as far as like accessories and stuff goes. But when I go to the car, I'll show you the current battery hold down is a very janky, maybe $1 piece of metal that Toyota makes. So this is gonna look a lot beefier, it's gonna look nice, and it's definitely gonna complement the new terminals that I put on. Now, SDHQ could have just sent me the battery hold down kit, but because they're an awesome company, they didn't stop there. They actually also sent me the ABS guard kit. Now, for those of you that don't know, if you're underneath your vehicle looking at the inside of your tire, so not from the outside, but the inside looking out, there are ABS sensors that are near your brakes. And those can break if you go off-roading or if you hit a big enough object on the highway or on the road. And replacing those can cost in excess of $500. So they came up with, again, a 6061 billet aluminum cover that goes directly over those ABS sensors and essentially protects them from any impact from either off-roading or driving down the road and something hitting them and breaking. Install is fairly easy. You're going to remove the bolts that hold the ABS sensors in place. There's 2 M6 bolts in here, and I'm gonna show you guys all this once we get out to the car, but you're gonna put the first M6 bolt on the stud, then you're gonna put the second M6 bolt right behind that other one, so they're gonna lock in place, and then you're going to essentially ratchet off that stud and then install these new hex head studs. And these are actually pretty sweet. They're like I don't know if you can see it, but they're like a bluish hue color. So I'm sure that has something to do with like rust. Maybe it's anodized, I don't know, but they look pretty sweet. So we're going to go to my car. We're gonna take the original battery hold down kit off and we're gonna throw it straight in the trash. And we're gonna get this installed. Now, keep in mind, like I said earlier, you can buy this alone for around $55, or you can get the upgraded one, which comes with the beefier hooks and hardware. And this as a set is $120. And then the ABS guard, guys, these cost about $99 pre-tax. But keep in mind, this is a small price to pay if you're somebody that hits the trails, goes off-roading, overlanding, etc., because again, if you break one of those sensors, it could be excess of $500 to replace. So a tiny little cost to make sure that you're not spending big money if you end up breaking parts. All right, I'm going to throw a hoodie on because it is 24 degrees here in sunny Michigan. Just kidding, it's not sunny, it's actually snowing. I'm gonna put a hoodie on, we're gonna go out to my car, we're gonna do the battery hold down kit first. I'm gonna toss the existing piece of metal in the trash, get this one mounted, show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll do the ABS guard kit on all 4 of my sensors and call it a day. Before we get out to the car, I'm gonna show you guys really quickly everything up close so that way you fully understand what you're looking at. So this is that kit for the battery hold down. This is that piece of 6061 billet aluminum. Again, it's gonna complement what I already have on my vehicle from SDHQ. It's nice and thick, it's solid, so to speak. And yeah, now, if you bought just this kit alone, you would use this hook and hardware, but because I actually have the upgraded one from them, you're going to scan this QR code and essentially use these hooks at the bottom and then fasten it to the top of this right here. And then you're gonna have these beefy hexagon shaped, I don't know what you wanna call these, like rods, on either side of the battery to just really make sure it's held in place. This is gonna cover more surface area on the side of your battery than these hooks do, so it's gonna have better grip on both sides. Lastly, we have the ABS guard kit right here. I'll put the compatible years on the side of this video, but you've got 4 of them. Then you have this honestly beautiful blue looking hardware with hex heads. And then you have 2 M6 bolts. Now these bolts are going to fasten to the factory studs. You're gonna put them against each other, and then you will use these to remove what is there and then put these in its place. So again, 6061, you can see how nice these look, very high quality. And I like these because I have a aluminum skid plate, bare metal, and both for my lower control arms and for the front of my vehicle. And if you're under the car or if the wheels turn, you'll be able to see these and they just complement them. So if you look closely, there is an A, and then I believe there's a B, but we're not gonna really be able to see until I take this out. So let me just open this really quick. These are side specific. If you look closely, there is a B on this one, and then there's an A. So B and A, if you look at the instructions, that will tell you what goes on what side, but they're essentially going to cover your ABS sensors. So let's get to it and get these bad boys installed. First things first, we're going to remove the stock battery hold down. Now for this, you're gonna wanna use a deep socket 10mm. The reason why you want a deep socket is these studs protrude far enough where a regular one will not be able to go all the way down and have it connected to anything. So gonna get a deep socket. I'm using a Milwaukee electric ratchet, and I'm gonna make sure it's in reverse so I don't tighten it down. And you're just gonna loosen these two. Now, technique only, you don't have to remove them completely. As you can see, I did not. I did loosen them though. That way I can go ahead and remove them from the vehicle, but I'm not worrying about those metal rods falling down in here and then having to fish them out somewhere. So if you loosen them like I did, they can remain on the hold down itself, but now you're not worrying about having to fish these out if they fall. Now, if you look at mine, this is a 2014 4Runner. Over time, this stuff rusts. So the nice thing about billet aluminum is aluminum does not rust. So I'm gonna clean off this battery. It looks like the previous owner tightened this down so much that they actually put like a divot in the battery itself. I've never had to remove this battery. It came with the car. And the reason why I haven't changed it is because it's an AGM battery, and it's a pretty good battery, actually, I'm not gonna lie. So when it dies, eventually needs to be replaced, I will replace it with probably something similar, but you can see how these like divots right here just dug into the battery and actually like changed the shape of it. So don't do what the previous guy did. I've never had to take this battery out, so this has stayed as is. But yeah, you can damage your battery if you over tighten these things. The way that SDHQ tells you to determine what size J-hooks you need is they want you to place the battery hold down like so, and then you're gonna measure from the J-hook holes, both in the front and back, up to the battery hold down, and you're gonna add 1/8 of an inch. That is gonna tell you what size J-hook you need, whether you need the small one or if you need the large one. Now, these are different sizes because not everybody's running the same size battery. If you're running a larger battery, you're gonna probably want the larger hooks. Now, what I'm gonna do is, because the old ones are a set length and they worked on this battery, I'm going to put the short ones on, and I'm pretty sure I can achieve the same length with the short ones. So I'm just going to throw those on, match them up lengthwise, and then get them secured. I am gonna save these because, like I said, I did not buy this battery, so this was not my first choice. But if I do end up having to replace this, I might go bigger. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm gonna put these in my glove box and save them for a rainy day. But I'm going to be mounting these short ones on this right here. A little bit of a misspeak earlier. You are going to use a longer hook in the front and then a shorter one in the back. So if you look at mine, this hook right here was in the back and this was in the front. So I did what they said. I put this here and essentially got the correct height to ensure that this sat flat underneath on both sides. And what you're gonna wanna do prior to installing this is grabbing an 11 size key and then just tightening this down. And that will essentially lock this in place to the rod on both. So if you don't want to have this slip and end up gouging the bolts, you can fish it through like I did. You'll tighten it down and then just fish it back. So now what we're gonna do is fish this in the hole in the front. And I'm sorry I'm not showing you guys this with the camera. It's kind of hard to do by yourself. But I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second here. With that post flush with my battery, I'm going to take the first nut or screw, whatever you want to call, and I'm just going to get it started. I want to have enough wiggle room so that I can mount the rear one as well, but I don't want this falling through on me. So I'm pretty confident that that's secured well enough for the time being. And now I'm going to take the rear one and same thing. I'm going to grab my headlight, that way I can see where I'm going. And you're just going to hook it on the back hook. And same thing, it is now nice and flush with the battery hold down, as is same with the front as the rear. You're just going to drop the hardware into place and start tightening it up. Now that both of these have been started, what I'm going to do is, while ensuring that they're still in position, I'm going to grab a 4mm Allen key and I'm going to start tightening it evenly on each side until I can feel tension holding the battery down. And I'm holding the centerpiece that runs the height of the battery so that the J-hook at the bottom is not like cocked one way in the hole. I'm keeping it as straight as possible. That way the tension that is on there is going straight up. With that 4mm key, I put it on here on both of them. And I used a 17. I think you could use a 16 as well, but I use a 17 because I don't have a 16. And I essentially stuck it down to the side. That way I could hold the piece that goes up and down. And I use it as leverage to keep the hooks, the J-hooks, straight. That way they are not cocked as I'm tightening them. And so holding it in place like so, I'm then able to tighten the hex heads with that Allen key. And I did that on both sides. Now, if you're gonna do this, be very careful, because when you put this here, you see how close you are to the positive? You do not want to arc anything. I did not do that. I'm not kidding, I did not do that. But I just want to point it out because I did catch myself. I was really close and I was like, oh shit, I'm right next to that positive post and I don't want to start seeing sparks fly. That was the install for the battery hold down from SDHQ. I'm going to be keeping all these pieces right here as extras in case they go bad, I lose them, whatever, or if I upgrade batteries. Now, just a quick check. Not going anywhere. So much nicer look, complements the battery terminals. And the nicest thing is this is aluminum and it's not going to corrode like the previous one did. So now we're going to install the ABS sensor guards. A few things before getting started with the install. You may notice there's an A and a B on the sensors. The A is the driver side, while the B is the passenger side. They mirror each other basically, just in the reverse. Now, you may notice also that there's 8 pieces of hardware and only 4 holes. That is not a mistake. If you have a 4Runner, Tacoma, or an FJ, you're gonna be using the 40mm bolts on the right-hand side. They're a little bit longer. And then if you have a Tundra or a Land Cruiser, you're gonna be using the 35mm bolts, which are on this side. Now, they're both M6, so that doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the length. So if you put this side by side, you'll notice that it is slightly shorter. So these are going to get put to the side. That way I don't accidentally use these. I'm going to do my driver side and then I'll do the front and rear. And I'm not gonna get the passenger side on camera because there's no need to. The reason why I'm gonna film the front and rear of the driver side is because The front is going to be fairly easy. You're just removing the bolt and then putting this in its place. But for the rear, you actually have to take the stud out and then replace it with this. So that's where those two come into play. We are on the front driver's side in the front of the vehicle. So behind me in this video is the bumper of the car. And yes, my CV boot is leaking. When I lifted my vehicle to accommodate the 3-inch lift, I did not replace the CV boots. I have new ones in my trunk. I actually have longer ones to accommodate a lifted vehicle. I just need time to do that. So when I replace those, I'm actually gonna also be replacing the clamshell bearing to prevent any shaking, but that's another video. So now what you're going to do is take a 10 mil, you're going to locate this bolt right here, and without getting absolutely filthy because my car is undercoated, I'm going to attempt to loosen it. And it's like 20 degrees, so I'm praying I'm not gonna like smash my knuckle on something because it's gonna really hurt in these temps. One thing I am gonna say while I'm doing this is when you put this new piece of hardware on here, the torque specs are 6 foot-pounds. Do not overdo it. You will damage what is on there. So I just broke that loose. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 10 mil socket, put it on here, and then spin it like so. So that comes out nice and easy. See how short it is? Now you're going to take, because we're on the driver's side, we're going to take the one that has the A notched on it, and we're going to put it up like so. Now just remember, when you install this, you want it to be parallel with the ground. And what I mean by that is this wants to be parallel with the ground. So line it up nicely. I put this on here. I'm going to line it up like so. Find the hole. Then I'm going to push this. And one thing I also want to point out real quick, see this notch right here? That is for the wire. That way you don't like put too much pressure on it. It's got a nice little cutout for it. So keep that in mind when you're securing this. If the wire is not in that notch, let it find that notch. All right, so that is there. I can feel the bolt or the M6 is in the hole. I have a 5 mil Allen key. I'm not gonna torque mine to 6. I don't think I have a way to torque it right now. So I'm just gonna put like an Ooga Dooga on there and call it good. Do not overdo it, guys. And this angle is very bad, so you probably won't see me tighten this, but you get the idea. You're just gonna tighten it down. If you have a way to torque it to 6 foot-pounds, have at it. I don't, so I'm just gonna lightly hand tighten it. The driver's side, along with the passenger side front, has been installed. So now we're gonna make our way to the rear of the vehicle and get the remaining 2 installed on the back part of the car. I'm under the driver's side rear tire, and I'll be honest, guys, I had every intention of showing you how to remove that stud, but here's the funny thing. When I put my ratchet on it, the whole thing backed out. This is, you can see there's a little bit of rust on there. This is rusted to this stud, and the part that was not exposed to the elements came right out. So I'm gonna try on the other side to get this nut off of the stud, but if it turns out like this again, you're not gonna be able to see that part, unfortunately. So I took this off in one shot and then took that hardware that SDHQ provided and got that secured on the rear. So now all that remains is the passenger side rear, and then once that's done, the install is complete. Guys, I don't know whether to say unfortunately, because it's not unfortunate for me, it's unfortunate for you guys, but both of them came out with the stud attached. So the install was pretty simple for me. I literally just took the new hardware from SDHQ and installed the rear ABS guards onto the vehicle. So for people that are not this fortunate, what you're going to do is you're going to thread the first one. Let me see if I can show it on this side. You're going to thread the first one about halfway through. Then you're going to tighten this one up against it. And then once it's tightened, you're going to back it up and it will come out. But for myself, like I said, these both came off very easily on the part that was secured to the vehicle. You can see that, you know, after being in there for about, I don't know, 11 years, the studs got a little rusty. So again, unfortunate for you guys, but awesome for me because these just came out very easily. So anyways, that was the rear. So guys, there you have it. That was the install of the SDHQ battery hold down kit. Very easy and complements the existing SDHQ hardware that I have on my battery. Now, we also installed the ABS sensor covers. Those are a pretty cheap mod that, in my opinion, if you are an off-roader or somebody that takes your car overlanding, it's pretty much a necessity, because if you break one of those sensors, you're gonna be out quite a bit of money to get that replaced. Guys, as always, if you found this video useful, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you know of somebody that could benefit from either the battery hold down kit or the ABS sensor guards, then please send this to them. That way they can see the options that are available and can make an educated decision on whether they want to purchase these for themselves or not. Guys, as always, thank you very much for subbing and tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.